Hello again, welcome back everyone. Liquor Hound here with you, and thank you for joining me once again for another spirit review video. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a couple of Blanco tequilas. The Cascahuin Plata 48, that's the still strength Blanco that's coming from Cascahuin Distillery. That's NOM 1123. And then over here from the same distillery, we have the Gran Legado still strength. This one is 109 proof. Price point on these are about the same, about $75 for each of them. The big difference is going to be over here because this is more a limited expression. This was U.S. only. Single estate agaves that were 7 years old. The agaves were super sweet, 40 bricks of sugars. And when they saw that, they knew they wanted to do it at still strength. Salvador Rosales Jr., the master distiller there, he knew that. And so that's what he did. It's still strength, using that deep well water. Only 1,500 liters or 2,000 bottles released of this one. But again, I want to do them side by side because this is more available. But if you happen to have this one around you, probably grab that, okay? Now, I know I'm going to get questions about the glassware that I have here. These glasses I've actually had for years. Because a long time ago, and these glasses have a story of their own. The glasses, I met a guy named Romeo Hristov, Hristov, and he approached me, and this is probably, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago when we first met, because he wanted me to kind of give my input on some glasses he was developing. Because he felt there was a need for a really good agave glass. And so he put in this. Romeo is super knowledgeable when it comes to glassware. He did all the research and he did all the prototypes. I have several of those as he was bringing me different prototypes and we were kind of working through them. And that's when I first did my first glassware video. Way back then, that's when I first met him. And through that, is where I knew he was developing these, but we kind of lost track of each other, and he started a whole company, and he's been doing these glasses, and I just happened to think about him when I was going to shoot this video, because I was like, you know what? I want a really nice glass to do this high proof, limited expression from Cascahuin. And so I thought of his jarrito that is meant for the high proof. And I got it down, and I thought, you know what? I also have his one that was built for the regular, because this would be better for the Plata 48. Price point on these, because he does them through the Chisholm Trail Crafts Glasses website. And I think the price point is about $29 for them. He also does really pretty etched ones and stuff like that. I think those can be like $80. But he always used really fine crystal, German crystal, and that's what I'm going to be nosing. Now, just to be safe, I have a couple of Glens right here that after I give you my initial impressions here, I'll probably go ahead and pour them in there just to double check and make sure. I don't want people saying, oh, it's different glasses are going to, nose differently or something. But starting with Cascahuin Plata 48 on the nose. Oh, it's such a pure lowland tequila. You get all that really nice, beautiful vegetal agave notes, but then you also get that rich, deep minerality to it. And to me, it's this combination of sweet and vegetal, confectionery, and almost soured, slightly fermented vegetables that I find so fascinating with these. But it's got that little bit of clay, that mineral slate on the nose. It's got that sweet agave, that raw, just pure agave juice, almost like when you're starting to get into that sugary water, fresh from the pinas when it's crushed. They do use a roller mill on the extraction process here, but there's nothing wrong with that. Just because it's not tahona doesn't mean it's losing a lot of flavor. It's just a different way to totally extract a lot more juice. A little bit of that cracked white pepper in here. As far as the citrus, there is a very light lime citrus, but I'm also picking up almost like little subtle hints of almost a dried strawberry. And just that little bit of almost, again, it's the agave nectar. The agave water is almost like a sugar cane water, so that sweetness is in there. I'm going to go ahead and taste it while we're at it. Here we go. Medium high viscosity, rich in mouth coating. That was just the first sip, and it's already just swelling on the palate. It enters, you get right away with that rich, dense agave, sweet agave, baked agave. And when they're baked, they almost taste like sweet potatoes or caramelized yams, that type thing. You get that up front. Then right behind it, you start picking up that little vegetal tone that I was talking about on the nose. To me, it would be almost like um, fresh, fresh asparagus or light green beans, that type combination, that vegetalness is what that reminds me of. And then you get hit with that little bit of that lemon, actually it's lime zest, just sprinkled on top there. Cracked white pepper. Ooh, there's a little bit of orange zest in there as well. It doesn't show up early. It shows up mid palate and later. As soon as you get past that cracked white pepper, that little bit of cinnamon on that mid palate, you start picking up the orange oil in with that lime zest. And that little bit of that minerality kind of starts laying out on that finish. It actually shows up fairly early, right before the mid palate is where that minerality kind of creeps in. But I was focusing on all those other notes up top. That's where it creeps in. Yeah, that kind of clayish minerality runs throughout the bottom. And there's almost a little touch of wintergreen and sage in this one on the back end. The wintergreen shows up early, a little bit right before mid palate as well, and the sage shows up on the finish. Beautiful, beautiful tequila. So now I'm going to go into the Glen there. Let me go ahead and compare these two. Much more agave. And now that I've poured it out so it's like coating the glass really well, you almost get a little bit of a barnyardish character here, where you get the fruit, that light manure in the air, kind of a little grassy. Really, really nice glass there. Out of the Glen, I'm going to coat it well. It picks up a little more of the proof on the nose. The cinnamons and the spices seem to pop a little more. But I do pick up that barnyard. Checking to see when that comes in, or if that even comes in. That wintergreen does show up before mid palate. That barnyard that I'm picking up on the nose is more into the, I don't know, almost like a meatiness of the agave spirit and into that minerality on that back end. It's super light on the finish. When you start getting into that sage, that's where it's at. But it's very, very light on the palate. Okay. Take a sip. And now we're going to go to the Legado, or Legacy. 109 proof. Let me coat this glass. $75 price point, 2,000 bottles made, 40 bricks of sugar on the agaves. Good weighty glass. This jarrito is made for the high proof tequilas or agave spirits. Oh my goodness. The nose on this one's nuts. Okay. So I've got this really split persona in this glass, which I don't normally, I've had this in the Glens. But in this glass, I'm getting the really almost like a, what is that called? When they do the sweet potato casserole, right? Yams, so sweet potatoes with the marshmallows. I normally get that on the Glen, but in this glass, I also get cantaloupe. That's crazy. Yeah, cantaloupe, even with a little bit of that The rind is in there. Or I guess you could call it cantaloupe with a watermelon rind, because it smells like the watermelon rind, but it also has that sweetness of the cantaloupe. In with all that sweet potato. The proof does not show it at all in this glass. A little bit of cinnamon, little white pepper. Almost a little floral. There's like a hibiscus in here. In with that sweet potato. Great, great nose. All right, here we go on the taste. Boom, that's a winner. Wow. And it's so impactful. And it's so transitioning. It's like a little snake. It's just winding and showing you different things. Man, we're going to have to start at the top here and try to work this out. Viscosity-wise, medium, medium-high. They feel about the same viscosity. Sweetness-wise, this one feels a little sweeter on the palate. I love what this one does. And this one does have a little more spice component to it, so you do get a little more oomph, a little more heat to it. But the payoff is a little more complexity as far as what it's doing. As it enters, raw, sweet, fresh agaves, just a mountain of them. Almost a little whisper of butterscotch. It starts ramping up. You start feeling the swell of the whole agave spirit here, just swelling on your palate. You do pick up a little cinnamon, a little white pepper. The wintergreen that was picked up here is in here, but it's even smaller. It's lighter than it was here. Shows up around the same time, early, right before mid-palate. Spices and the this one has a little cracked pepper, a little more cinnamon, ramps up to that big mid-palate. Lime zest is similar on both of those, but that component of that melon shows up early. It shows up right away with that big mound of agave. That's when you're getting the melon. Then you'll notice the cinnamon coming up, the white pepper. You'll pick up that little lime zest on top. That little wintergreen, it starts rising to the top. Here we go on the mid-palate swell. The melon's back at it. And on the back end, we're starting to creep into a little more of that minerality. A little bit of that hibiscus that I was picking up is in there. That light vegetalness that I was picking up early here, it shows up here, but it shows up actually after the mid-palate is where I really wanted to focus on that. It is similar, kind of like fresh green beans, fresh asparagus, that type note. But again, you get all that sweet, rich agave just piling up on top of that. Sage is very similar there. The minerality of that sage component is similar. They're both using the deep well water. Okay, beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and go into the Glen now. Coat it. Smell the high proof Jarrito glass. Wonderful weighty glass as well. That's a great glass. So again, if you're interested in these glasses, and I'm not getting paid by, I never was. I was doing all this as a favor to a friend. We became friends through these glasses, but I haven't seen them in, I don't know, 7 years, unfortunately. I have to reach out to him after this video, but fantastic glasses. He ended up going through, I know, like, I think I went through 5 or 6 different incarnations and different lip flares and everything, and where he settled was great. So go by Chisholm Trail Craft Glasses and pick you up a set of those. This, again, the El Gran Legado is just phenomenal tequilas. Cascahuin, if you ever have the opportunity to pick this brand up, this is additive free, just pure tequila. They do it wonderfully well made. Again, usually using a lot of well water. But anyway, if you're able to join me over at patreon.com/liquorhound, you're going to help me self-purchase these bottles so that I can give you straightforward, unbiased reviews. I'm not beholden to any distilleries or company because I'm not asking them for bottles. And so, again, if you can afford to join me over for $5, maybe $10 a month over there, that's what I do. But thank you as always, regardless of platform. I greatly appreciate each and every one of my viewers. Keep leaving all those great comments. I'll get back to them just as soon as I can. Everyone have a great day, and cheers.